Yo, 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 what up, what up? What's going on? This is Romy Mac. Welcome to 2 Cents, where we talk about any and everything and give our 2 cents. Another show to do, another week gone by, and we're just trying to give you guys what you've been looking for, what you've been asking for, what entertains you really. I'd like to start off with mental health update. Today is an up and I don't know how I want to feel about this day. I have bad days. I feel like it was a good day, and then it's like as I thought more, it's like it became like a bad day. So I mean, doing this show helps a lot. Try to get out of a funk mentally, and just thinking about a lot of things that I've done, the things that has been done to me, and it can sometimes it gets the best of you. And so it's just like it's good to talk with friends. It's good to talk with people that that genuinely care for you, that have your best interest at heart. You know what I'm saying? So I try to do that. So what I'm doing right now is talking. I've been last couple hours been talking to a few folks that's like that's close to me, that kind of help you get through the good times, make you laugh a little bit, and just understand that that they're there for you. And that's what's important. And learning, like, when you go through shit, who's actually going to be there for you, and who's there that understands that you are dealing with something that might even be beyond your understanding, but they're still they still ride for you. They don't make you feel bad about your situation. So I definitely appreciate those loved ones that are doing that. Today's show will cover, of course, we'll have to cover Gayle and her interview that she had with Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant and the rape allegations. And Kobe has yet to be put in the ground, but we'll get more into that. We'll talk a little bit more about some other mental health related stuff. And Sugar's back. She's back from the desert, serving her country, as we can appreciate. And I know she has something in store, probably for a rant. It's been a while since she's done it, so I know she has a lot to talk about. So we appreciate her being back with us on American soil. And Deacon Balls is in the building as well. And so let me just stop talking everybody's head off by myself and just get the team through here. Yo, what up? Yeah, Ev, how's it feel being back on American soil?
It feels great.
Yeah, you've been causing havoc since you've been back, huh? Yeah, no, it's good to have you. It's good to have you back, babe. We're gonna get into this. We always do. But y'all been having a good week so far?
Of course. I'm on leave for the next week or two, so yeah. I'm having a great time.
That's good. All right. Well, let's see here. So we'll just go straight into it. We'll talk what's popping and pop this week. We had Gayle King interview Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant, and she just asked her about the rape allegations. Like if he ever done anything I don't know if it's like complicated. I forgot what the specific term that she used, but Lisa defended her friend, rightfully so, speaking on the fact that he's never been the type to be like, yo, go get that girl over there type shit. And he's like, she got NBA friends that do that. What I'm saying? But says she's never been the type, he's never been the type to do that. And then you ask anybody, Kobe always avoided like crowds and shit. What I'm saying? He really wasn't his thing. What I'm saying? It's like John Sally on DJ Vlad interviewed John Sally. He was talking about how he got Kobe to like when he was in Miami, he had a house in Miami or whatever, and he finally got Kobe to get out of the house and go to like the club, and like the girls were just like swarming him, and Kobe just was like whatever about it. What I'm saying? Like he's 21. I think he's like 21 years old or something. And that's just Kobe's mindset, man. He was just so goal driven, so focused. And granted, he got himself in that situation that happened in Colorado that I don't really know much about, but
I know about it.
Yeah, but that is the particular information that Gayle King decided to ask Kobe about. You know what I'm saying? Not ask Kobe, excuse me. Ask about Kobe to Lisa Leslie, and it set the world. It set the news. Set the news world ablaze. Like especially in the black community, man. It's like Snoop Dogg had a video out talking about what she said. Boosie had something. 50 Cent said something. LeBron tweeted something about it. It's just like, man is not even dead. He's not even in the ground yet, and we're already trying to assassinate his character, which has been done previous times to a lot of black entertainers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw a meme just now, because because Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas' father, Ant-Man, Michael Douglas from Ant-Man, Basic Instinct, and all those all those other classic films. That's their father. Apparently, he raped a 15-year-old, Natalie Wood, some time ago. And are they going to do and I guess the meme was like, are they going to do a documentary on how he raped a 15-year-old, Natalie Wood? You know what I'm saying? But
you don't know about it from broadcast.
yeah, they don't broadcast that stuff. But you can Google the information. Google Natalie Wood, Mike, and Kirk Douglas, and that situation, and that thing will come. And it'll come up, and then you'll be able to verify such information and decide for yourself. Gail, so Gail King comes out. So do you not even just black people, but how do you feel just about the media crucifying the black entertainer on said subject?
I mean, they did the same thing to Whitney Houston, but it was scale again. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they do. They do that all the time. They did the same thing with Rick Pryor, replay. He's been dead for a long time. Michael Jackson, like any 2 times, like they got some bullshit. They bring this kind of bullshit up, bro. That's what they do. They always have to second thought about everything.
So yeah, you've been gone a while. Like, give me your feedback on that. What do you think about this?
I think that she's a journalist. As a journalist, she should do her damn homework and research before bringing any of this to light. I think that she's. I don't understand why they doing this now. Why couldn't she ask these questions when he was alive?
That is a good question.
Well, before he did when he was alive, I was listening to why talk about it now when he's gone. Yeah. And the thing is, he didn't do it. He was, I guess what, he went to court, they tried him, and he was not guilty. I know. So, I mean, why bring it up? Why are we bringing up all shit?
Yeah, it's
she only doing it to benefit herself.
It's foul altogether. All around it's just foul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, he's got kids, and I'm sure his kids secure things.
Like he's not even in the ground yet, though.
No, he's not. It don't even matter if he was in the ground. Why talk about it? He's gone. Why does it even need to be brought up in the first place? He ain't here to defend his. And you know what? I called it a long time ago. Oprah, Gail, all of them. They are horrible. You see the stuff that they talk about and they report. It's always bringing up negative shit about a black person. Never nothing. Rarely is it positive.
Well, they're talking about this. I wonder if they're going to talk about their friend. What's your man Weinstein?
Oh, they're not going to talk about his ass. You know why? Oprah knows that if she talk about anybody like him, white. Oh, you think for sure that she would have her little her show or her channel that she has, her network? You really think that she would have that network? If Oprah was more pro-black like she said she is, then you really think that she would be in the position that she's in now? No. She don't speak out against the...
Do you think something is up with her, like the likes of her and Terry Crews and like these other guys that just won't go against their dollar? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they sold it. They sold their soul together. They sold out. That way, when they're on the other end, they want people to feel for them. I hate to bring it up, but I can't use that as an example. They're not like Richard Pryor or Bill Cosby, how they're very vocal about a lot of things. Like Richard Pryor saying, fuck white people. They're not like they are. They're not as vocal as pointing out the obvious of how African Americans or people of color are being mistreated, in the industry and stuff. They're not as vocal as they are. All Oprah does is, I'm gonna create a network for African American people. But how have you heard her say anything in support of African Americans and talking against their mistreatment within the industry, or just not even just in the industry in general, but just African Americans in general? She don't. That's how she got to where she is now. She's sitting there shucking the job for them and doing what they want her to do.
And it's just sad that it has come to this, because like now you're going at, you got Russell Simmons roughly being crucified.
Yeah.
You got, it's like, if they did the crime, they did the crime. I don't know. Me personally, Romy Mac, I don't know about their shit. I haven't looked into it. But
I'm gonna say it again. in what time period it is. If a black man is accused of doing something, money or not, they will do everything in their power to throw them under the jail, whatever. So you cannot fucking tell me that these people, I'm sorry, but you waiting years to say, oh, so-and-so did something to me. Let me tell you something. It's just like the Bill Cosby thing. Bill would have been hung. I'm sorry to say, he would have been hung if the white lady would have said, oh, I'm going to get raped. They burned the fucking town down because a white lady tried to claim that a black man raped her back in the day. Don't think they wouldn't have fucking did no crazy shit to Bill Cosby. Had shit like that happen back then. Why wait 30 years later, however many years later, to say, oh, he did something to me all of a sudden? The fuck out of here with that shit. Back in his days, he wouldn't have got away with that. Money or not. That is what it is. But to bring up this whole thing about Kobe, she didn't do her fucking homework. They don't care.
Like you said, Elvis and Elvis with young girls.
Yes. You know what people's justification for Elvis was? Oh, well, he wasn't married to her yet. But he was probably fucking her and dating her treating after her 14-year-old man.
One that's the media.
Oh, you talking about the one that married his adopted daughter?
But yeah, they don't say shit about them. They don't bring none of that shit. They don't say nothing about it.
They not. You know why? Because they'll lose everything they got.
No, it's because they want to keep them at a good ending.
Of course, they lose what they have.
Out to tear us down. Well,
like they gotta use that. What's that thing they had in the on the there's some documents about how like they gotta portray the image of over sexualized black men and shit. They have to portray that image regardless of like they doing what's that nigga that one of them was like show me the money and shit.
Oh yeah, Cuba. Cuba good.
Oh, there's shows that they have on their channels. They put black women in bad light too. Don't get it twisted. Not just the men, black women too.
That's what it is.
They put them in the bad place in the bad light. Whenever they try to say, oh, we're in support of African Americans, no the fuck you not.
But the whole thing about the Gail Kim shit, when something happened to her, they're gonna do the same thing to her. Guaranteed.
And as long as they're doing everybody right, they're taking care of their audience. They're taking care of the power, the powers that be. Like that time Oprah gave out, what is it? You get a car bullshit or whatever they was talking about. You remember Oprah had that thing that it's just like you gotta take care of folks. You know what I mean? That's every once in a while. I guess it keeps people off and like learn the system. But I mean, let Kobe's legacy be left alone, yo. Honestly, that's really what it is. He got caught committing adultery. You got him there.
They always want to say, they always want to paint the negative shit. No, I guess you're not what she mentioned. Anything positive that he's done.
Charlemagne has a saying. He's saying you're always guilty in the court of public opinion. That's really what that is. It is, what good is the truth if the sensationalized lies are so much better? You know what I'm saying? That's really what that is. Like folks believe what they want to believe. So Gail, you got this one coming, and no video you make online is gonna come. It's gonna be able to bring you back from this. And you just been crucified by the black community. But I mean, you make enough money that you probably don't even get that that vibe from anybody. I mean, you might get it from like the black celebrities that you might meet at parties and shit. They'll look at you a certain way. But as far as like the ones that's on social media, I mean, you can just turn that shit off and it no longer exists. I mean, you still got to live with the fact that you ask these questions. That amongst yourself. That's something you go through.
They had this shit in like the Time magazine and all this other shit. And you want to know what's crazy? The person that said that, I think it was in New York or something, they put them on a leave or fired him or something. So why the fuck would she do the same thing? It's only one that's trying to tarnish his image. This shit's been in multiple. Yahoo did the same thing. I saw it like 2 or 3 days ago. Yahoo brought up the same shit. One of their writers, they keep doing it.
I'm sorry, but we, the black delegation.
Yeah, we trading for Ellen. We trading for Ellen and Nancy Pelosi.
We already traded for Ellen. We've been at Ellen.
Yeah, so we trade. We get Nancy Pelosi.
I don't think at this point in time, we just throw Gail to the sea.
Yeah, we're just trade for Nancy.
I don't think aliens will Gail that. We just don't have to.
We'll trade for Nancy Pelosi. And speaking of which, this week, after Trump did his State of the Union address, we had they showed Nancy Pelosi behind him ripping up like her copy of like the State of the Union, and she was just like fuck, pretty much like fuck that nigga type But what we did come to find out, the news, I think it was delivered yesterday, right? That Trump was, or either yesterday or the day before, Trump was acquitted. Yeah, Trump was acquitted on the charges brought against him. Yeah, he's off. He got off. Teflon Don, as we called him that from the jump. You know what I'm saying? And what this proves is that there's a blind loyalty to Donald Trump by these people in Congress. You know what I'm saying? And he's got people by the balls. I'm not gonna say he got everybody, but he's got enough.
He got them votes because a lot of people still supporting him.
Yeah, exactly. He says what a lot of people feel, and that's what he's doing. He plays on people's emotions, is what I gather from like his whole way of how he's governing himself in business with being the president. And even before the presidency, he's just saying what people want to hear, but he does what he wants to do. I mean, it's just wild. It's just wild, that we look into America and like we turn a blind eye to this type of corrupt shit. But meanwhile, we got shit where Kaepernick gets crucified because he takes a knee at a fucking football game, like literally crucified him as a person. Like it's so funny that you see like certain people in this country like wait for shit like that to happen and they just tear into people. Like Kaepernick, he's a piece of shit. I read some shit today in the 49ers because they were comparing Kaepernick to Patrick Mahomes or whatever, because they said Patrick Mahomes build houses for the homeless or some shit. And it's like, well, Kaepernick does stuff. Kaepernick was feeding the homeless during the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like you can take it. I mean, it's not a competition though, but it's just the fact that you're willing to assassinate his character. Now, the same way you're building up Patrick Mahomes right now, let Patrick Mahomes do some foul shit. You're gonna tear into his ass, just like you tore down Kobe. Just like you tear down Michael Vick. Just like you tear down any other black entertainer, colored entertainer for that matter, anyone, whether Latino or black. You're willing to assassinate that character because some of you view us as just entertainers. The shuck and jive, shut up and dribble, all these things, all these mindsets that you do have. This is what you're living in. But with all that being said, Trump is able to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. To you, he turned a blind eye to that. Oh, it was the reason.
I ain't never seen the motherfucker stand reporter as much as we do.
How? Let's just turn the whole thing around. Let's just turn. Oh, President Obama's in office, and he says that, and he calls like the people in the NBA, y'all sons of bitches for keeping LeBron in Cleveland or some shit like that. They would have turned, Fox News would have turned that shit out. Would have turned it out on Obama. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things that they tried to get on Obama for, Trump is getting away with it, and they're not saying any fucking thing.
Dude, they were investigating Obama for his like residency. Oh, they're like, oh no, he's not there. He's born in Hawaii. He was all in. They were asking about all his tax shit, but when it comes to Trump, they don't give a fuck. Nah, fuck, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, man, fuck that shit.
Yeah, that's that fuck shit, bro.
And I'm not saying like I'm the biggest fucking Obama supporter, bro. I'm not gonna say that shit. But still, you gotta make the fucking drawing board even. That shit don't be even at all. Oh shit, none of you.
So anyway, Trump's acquitted. He's gonna go on, and I am predicting that he probably will get reelected, because that's just the type of country that you live in. You live in racism. People are more racist than you know. All he is just showing he's the reflection of what America is. That's what Trump is. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about Donald Trump supporters and how some of them feel about the American people. And how they feel about other Americans. How they feel about, go back to your country. Go back to Mexico. Go back to Africa.
Funny you say that. We were watching that thing about that town hall meeting when they gossiped. They were talking about the racism that kids deal with in school. And he he was like, well, why don't you go back to Mexico? The same shit you just said is what he said during that town hall meeting to somebody. And it was really about like how the black students, they said they one of the guys, the black students was being had racial slurs and all other shit.
Man, when that dude said that, everybody
like, but people say it because somebody was recording. If that shit, if he wasn't recording, I don't think he would have said anything. I don't think them people would have said. I'm telling you, people do stuff now just to get on the good side and be like, I'm proactive. I believe in this, but they really don't. If that was the case, then like we say, Trump would not be in fucking office. It's just a covering, man.
It's fuck shit is what I like to call it. Such is life. That's where we live. We live in America. If we got a problem with it, their go-to answer is, why don't you go back to where you came from if you don't like it. Like what's Shorty? The Tommy Lauren. Didn't she come at she came at somebody this week.
If you don't like it, she can go back to where her ass came from.
She said so. She was talking about somebody this week. I forgot what she said. She went at somebody this week. But she's always on some fuck shit too, like Tommy Lauren, and she has an audience. There are people that feel just like her. And the next and last thing in what's popping this week, and that is the halftime show backlash. And what that is that for those who didn't watch the Super Bowl, there were 2 Latin American artists that performed at the Super Bowl, and that was Shakira. And that was Jennifer Lopez, otherwise known as J.Lo, to us. And they turned it out. They really represented Miami in a big way in our city, like as far as like the Latin culture, and that was good. I think that was good representation. That what they did. Of course, a lot of the black community down here would have liked to seen like the likes of like a Luke or a Rick Ross or somebody like to represent a Trick Daddy, represented, but that's not what this was about this year. So I mean, it's just wild. But we'll get more to that a little bit later on as far as that shit goes. But what I want to key on is like the backlash that's coming because of the outfits that were worn by Shakira and the gyrating moves that they performed. Apparently, a lot of women were offended by their performance.
I don't know how different is it from the damn cheerleaders' outfits. What the fuck I was.
Yeah, exactly. The cheerleading thing, and then Adam Levine took his shirt off last year, and it was no problem. But now this year, because because J.Lo got a fat ass and Shakira can move very nicely too, that
I know. I'm jealous.
Yeah, 50 years old. 50 years old right there, just doing pole dances. She's a hustler. Literally was in Hustlers. And
I can't even do a pole dance.
Oh, she looked good. She looked really good out there.
That was skills.
What was really I really like the representation that they had with like even we still have kids that are at the borders, like in like camps or whatever, that's like locked, that's locked away. She had her daughter come out there and they did like a thing where they were like inside like the cage or whatever. Then that was supposed to be like that representation, because like even though we're going on with our lives, their lives are still going on in that way too. And I think that was important for that to be brought to the attention for Latin Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're very fortunate that we don't have those situations going on with our with our communities, and that community needs help, and America should be helping towards that. But it's just very funny that this backlash from what they're thinking is just like it's a bunch of middle-aged white women that find this very offensive. And there was like this Christian pastor or whatever, he's suing the NFL for like $1 trillion because now he's not going to get into the kingdom of heaven because of watching this shit. He's been exposed to pornography during the Super Bowl or some shit. Like, get the fuck out of here, yo. Like, we're going to the fucking extreme with this.
Yes. People are being hypocrites, and it's hypocrites.
Keep going to hell anyway.
They have no problem with these cheerleaders dancing and shit.
You watch cheerleaders on fucking TV every fucking week, but then you will complain about a fucking she be saying they're not the most mentally capable people. I have no faith in humanity.
I just noticed I'm 37 years old. Now you got the energy to have dancing all over there and swimming around poles and shit. I need to step my game up in the gym so I can get on that level.
I mean, so, you know, shout out to J-Lo and Shakira. You are more than welcome to come and do that shit any day. You can come on Jimmy Fallon's show tomorrow and do that if you want to. You can come to the
I need their trainer, please.
You can come to the Heat game. You can go to LA Fitness for all I give a goddamn and do what you did out there. You know, I mean, I am a heterosexual man who loves women, so yeah, I have no problem doing what you saw. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny, but that's just funny about the backlash. Like, it's a little like backlash. Get out of here, man. Y'all hating on the fact that they're still in good shape and able to do what they do. So let them do what they do, and you do what you do.
Boo boo.
Yeah, that's how we, that's how we.
We have to be in church instead of watching the football games. And they got like midnight sermon or some shit.
I don't fucking know, man. I'm probably playing Grand Theft Auto, the biblical version or some shit. I don't know what the fuck going on.
Fucking Lord sing Auto.
Yep. And you riding around stealing camels and shit, something like that. You know? Yeah, you steal camels. You go around as like Cain and Abel. God asks you what happened to your brother. Am I my brother's keeper? And all kind of stuff. Yep, that's what it is. Yeah, you got to do the gun code, and you get all the knives and shit that was available back then, but bows and arrows. But anyway, we're moving into what we like to call the Karumbe joints and games. So, Deacon Balls, man, the floor is yours, man. Let us know what's popping in the music. Tell us about how you love that Lil Wayne album.
Man, Lil Wayne, actually, what's that motherfucker? Yo Gotti got a good ass album that came out. His album is like up there, cause Eminem had like his album is like supposedly it now. But Yo Gotti's album is right behind. Yo Gotti always drop fire shit. What's that other dude? Not Black Youngster. Moneybag Yo. Moneybag Yo had a good album too that dropped like recently. But yeah, those are 2, 3. If you ain't got Eminem out, 3 good albums right there. So go get that Apex Legends Season 4 that dropped on these places. Because I know some things dropped recently.
When your mixtape dropping? When you gonna drop that mixtape? I'm back on soil.
May 2020.
That's what it is.
I'll be more things more something out, but I don't be really playing that. So, but that's about it for me, man, on games.
All right, I got you. All right, Suge. Well, it's your epic return, so you got to get us an epic rant. What you got for us, baby?
The income tax, yo. Hey, these people want you to spend your money, your hard-earned coins, and buy dumb shit in their stores so they can get richer. Put your money in savings, pay off your debt. You got some collections, take care of that. Fix your credit. You own a house, just do simple things like that. Stop blowing your money on dumb shit. Do we really need a brand new TV every income tax season? No. Take the TV to the repair shop down the street and get it fixed.
Man, you know what you need when you set an appointment for the damn tax and they motherfucking ass you here.
I think you said that for the wrong place. I think I messed that up. But anyways, so yeah, though, all they doing is trying to get your money, and then next thing you know, you ask them for somebody to borrow some money because you need this, that, and the other later on, like 2-3 months later. You just blew your money on some bullshit. Stop.
Rims, you go to the club.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you buying rims to fix your car up. The value of your car does not go up when you buy rims on the deck. The value of your vehicle goes down when you pull it off the lot. So just think about that. Like, use it to fix your house and what's up if you buy it or whatever, but stop learning on stupid stuff like buying new TVs and, I'm going to go get grills, I'm going to buy this, that, and the other, trying to walk in front of people. Like, stop doing this to impress folks if that's what you do. Now, if you could do both, pay your bills and floss, then by all means do it, boo-boo. And put money away in savings, emergency funds. Let's be smart with it. Let's stop making these people rich and ourselves poor. That's all I got to say.
So we're moving into topic number 1. And that is, how long are you willing to sit in something that makes you unhappy? Now, what we mean by that is like, how long are you willing to sit in a relationship that makes you unhappy? How long are you willing to sit at a job that makes you unhappy? How long are you just going to sit in shit? Is really what the question is. How long are you willing to, to do that? Like, like, again, and really, what makes you do that? What do you think makes a person want to like sit in something that's like that keeps them like unhappy? You feel like it's like an obligation, you know what I'm saying? Or is it, you think it's just like not enough self-love? Which I think is a part of it. To you guys, what do you really feel like is the reason someone would sit in a situation that keeps them unhappy for an extensive period of time?
I think it's some people, they have this thing where they know things are gonna get better, so they're hoping that so they stay in it. Whatever, it could be like a bad job, like for instance a job, like for me, right? I'm coming up on 14 years in a couple of days. Well, actually, I just hit 14 years today. What's it? Tomorrow. Tomorrow marks my 14-year mark in the military, right? Had a lot of ups and downs. A lot of days I want to throw in the towel. But I look at how far I've come and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of unhappy times with it. And it's eventually going to get better. It's just the situation I'm in and the people that I'm working with. So I kind of, assess it and be like, I could just want to throw in the towel whatever I want to, but it's going to get better eventually. So I'm going to stay. And not saying, it might maybe not get better, but I have a common goal that I'm trying to follow through, and I'm not going to let certain individuals or certain situations stop that from happening. Shut up! I was not talking about you, Dublin. Fuck word.
Alright.
Like, people I work with, they make it suck. I've seen so many people like airmen. After their first 6 months of being there and their first base, they're ready to pull out a towel and go. They're like, I don't want to do this shit. And I'll be like, it's the people you're with. But you change locations or something, it'll probably get better.
Well, I say a lot of times where I found myself in situations like relationships where I like, if I was unhappy and I stayed, it was really like the fact that I think it's deep rooted, like when you're a kid and you put your wants aside. You're almost like raised to put other people's wants ahead of yours. You know what I'm saying? And you just live that way. So you find yourself, you get into a situation where you are unhappy, and it's just like, all right, well, I got to make sure they're good, and I'll be all right. That was just that mindset that you do. And you just forget to do what's best for you because of that, for fear of that criticism, like, oh, you're selfish and all this, and all that stuff. But you can be. I saw a quote by Styles P. It's like you can be disliked and like do what you want to do, or you can be like do not like yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's something that a lot of us have to ask ourselves. A lot of us don't make a lot of decisions because for fear of like of how other people are going to perceive it, even if it's like for our best interests. They'll go against the grain. They're afraid to go against the grain because of what other people might say if they do it. You know what I'm saying? So you sit in some shit and you just remain unhappy. Like, I imagine like how many married people or people just in relationships that are just there for the simple fact that they don't want people to look at them a certain way, but they really aren't happy in what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like you sit in something and you ask yourself, how is it benefiting you? What are you getting from this? And then you're like, and I mean, everybody has to answer that question for themselves. It's like, am I in this? Am I getting any am I benefiting from this situation? Everything that's in your life. Like when you're at your job, what are you getting out of your job? You know what I'm saying? Like when you get up and you're not even looking forward to going to work and you're not being invested in that work, it's just like you have to ask yourself, like, where's the benefit in this right here? What is the benefit? Like, are we going to You know, is this going to put me in a better place? Will I be better by continuously working at this job, or should I go elsewhere and try to find something that benefits me and do what exactly I want to do instead of being enslaved? And now, you know what I'm saying? Like, granted, we were freed a long time ago by slavery, you know, the emancipation of slavery, but we have been in bondage mentally for ever since then, a lot of us. And we don't realize this about, like Killer Mike said, it's a bunch of free people with slave mentalities. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still think that we're still caged in, and we don't realize the powers that we have of freedom. And we especially me, you know, like worrying about a lot of times what people say. I think that's more so because of like my inner, like that inner child is still there, and you're unsure of yourself. So you look elsewhere for guidance to see if everything is okay with what you're doing. And you gotta make decisions. You gotta make decisions as a man. You gotta make decisions as a woman that suit what's best for you. And a lot of people don't tend to do that, you know. So, but I mean, that's my stance on that. Deacon Balls, man. What about you, bro? What do you think?
I know like a lot of married people stay because they got kids. I know people that would be in that situation. They stay with each other or like children, but in the long run, it ain't no good. Some people just stay because like you said, they're afraid of what like they parent or whatever will say. I got a friend, and like she was in a relationship that she didn't like, and she comes from like an Indian family that does arranged marriage. So she's scared. She still ain't told her parents that she's divorcing her husband because she's scared that they gonna try to arrange marriage her ass away.
Mm-hmm.
But no, most people
it's kind of like, well, it's like they already asked somebody they want her until they find out like the guy that she's talking to.
Yeah, but families like that, if they know the woman's divorced, they don't. So.
No, they won't. Because if the family's like American, but let's just say like the mom is Indian and the dad is American, she still want that kind of thing to happen. But yeah, it's weird. Like you said, they're scared of the way it's gonna look. I'm like, damn, you a grown ass person, like, but you don't want it's more like don't want their mom to find out because she's like Indian or whatever. Or
that's because their parents put that, have them.
Well, it's cultural. It's really cultural, to be honest. It's a lot of things that you have is like, it's like cultural. Like, you got some of those families that because their father was a doctor or their father was a lawyer, they expect them to, become a doctor. Like in a lot of like some Asian families, and in some Asian culture, like they're trained to have like piano lessons and at a very young age, and then they go to school to become like doctors or lawyers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, granted, is great. It's a great career field. Like, financially, you'll be taken care of, but it's not what you wanted to do. And like most kids, their parents mean something to them. So like, if they don't want to disappoint them, like, you know what I mean? And like, even for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I walked around in my life, my whole life, I've been trying to like chase the approval of my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, just everything I've done, you know what I mean? I wanted to prove that I wasn't this fuck up kid that I felt like I was as a kid. So whenever I'd make a mistake, I go into, like, as an adult, I'm ashamed. I have guilt and all this other stuff, and I just like I hide. It's like I hide away in my hole or whatever until I can figure out how to bounce back from it, because there was this sense of perfectionism that was instilled like just by life. I don't think my parents have never told me that I had to be perfect. I'm gonna make that clear, but it's just something that, like, you as like a kid, it's like, I'm going to be this child, I'm going to be this perfect child type syndrome. And once you do that and then you make mistakes, it's like the world is crashing down on you. You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to grow from that and become, just become better. And You know, it's, you know, you sometimes you just, yeah, I don't know. You know, you do a lot of shit, man, and such is life, right? So,
like what I was saying, like for jobs though, when it's jobs, you do it till you find something else. A lot of the time, the people like,
yeah, at least find something.
Until they feel like they ain't gonna find nothing better. Cause me and Ebony on two opposite ends of this. Because man, I feel like most of my military career I was surrounded by like me and her do different career fields. Like she'll say get better, but I feel like I was still same shit over and over. Like people not deploying, not cutting not doing they weight. And I'm in a career field that's like, I can say that most of my career field might have been, I'm not gonna say most of it, Steve. A lot of it was.
It's the people you were with around.
Yeah, every base was the same. Like people don't want to fucking deploy. People don't want to they don't want to come to work. They want you to cover for them. They don't want to tell you. Like, man, it just seems like
I see it from that aspect, but then I also, you know, like my job, it sucks. I take deployments just to get away. I'll be quick to raise my hand.
Yeah, but you get tired. You get tired.
But, you know, and there's time where I meet a great group of people. I mean, there's a great group of people that I meet, you know, going to different, you know, working in another location or whatever, and then I go back to here. But it's like, it's the people. They come and they go. That's how I see it. I don't know, maybe because I was raised, I mean, they come and they go. They're temporary in my life. A lot of these people are temporary. So I know that they're not always going to be there forever. I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, when they move away or whatever, I don't have to deal with it.
That can tell you.
And I don't have to go home and sleep with them at night. So, they're not paying my bills.
But I'm saying though, Matt can tell you, I'm always gone. I barely spend any time in my own place. Then when you go somewhere else, it's the same shit.
But that's what helps me get through it. Knowing that these people are just temporary situations. It's just a temporary situation.
And my career field is small. You run into kind of like the same people over and over.
But if you do that, then you know, there's options too, though. If there's options, how to get out of that.
I don't want to do like ass and be like, I ran into a lot of like females in my career field and some crazy shit. Sound like I'm some women haters man club or some bullshit.
But there's ways there's people always say, you know, yeah, I've had bad experiences and good experiences, but at the same time, I don't let that define how I'm gonna live my life.
That's one of the reasons I'm not going. So I got a daddy hurt. You don't want to do calm because of the experience you had.
No, it's not because of the experience I've had. No, that's not because of the experience that I had. That's not why I don't want to do it. It's just something that I don't see myself doing long term. Yes, years in the military, I'm okay, but once I get out of the military, that's not something I want to do. It's not based off the experience. It's just not something I'm interested in doing like that.
And you didn't have to deal with like how to.
What I'm saying is that's just not something that I want to do right now. It has nothing to do with the people that I'm dealing with. That's just something that I'm not interested in doing long term. After I do my 20 years working comp, I'm fine with doing it as a side job or a hobby. Maybe that's what I try to do it versus doing it where, you know,
anybody deals with pilots. Matt deals with.
But that's not what I'm saying, though. I'm not, for me, I know, but for my situation, I'm not thinking it off of, like, that's not why I don't want to do what I want to do.
Oh, I'm understanding it, Emily. I'm just saying, like,
right. And there's people that are assholes. There's cool people, too.
People that, like, think they better than you all the time.
There are some people that are like that, and there are some that are not like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I see it as these people are just temporary. It's not a permanent way.
Temporary, but I deal with these motherfuckers every day.
Sure, I do too.
Really?
Yes, I deal with the same people that you do every day.
Okay.
I work on their computers. I do this, I do that.
Yeah, I'm around them all fucking day.
Okay, that's fine, but the thing is though, you see it as, I see it as a temporary problem. They're not going to define how my happiness and where I'm in their life. I'm not letting that define me and my happiness. I can make myself happy. So I might have a shitty, miserable day at work, but I'll find a way to make myself happy. And it ain't gonna be dwelling on how they treat me or how they offer. I like to find that's not me. Because you gotta think there's always everything you get in relationships with jobs, there's always gonna be issues. It's not always gonna be roses and perfect all the way around. There's gonna be a time period where you just have a shitty time. You just want to throw in the towel, and then there's gonna be times when you're gonna be like, you know what, this is straight, I'm fine, I'm having good laughs. And there's gonna be days when you have bad times. I've had plenty of those, plenty of bad days, plenty of good days. I've had days where I just wanted to freaking smack shit out of somebody, and then the next day that person could have made me crack a laugh or some shit. But I'm not gonna let that define my career or how I want to make it.
Well,
We're gonna move on to the next thing.
yeah, we're moving on to the next thing. But that was good. That was good content that you guys had, have brought forth for our audience. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes we don't always agree, but it's good. You know, it's good to get that out there. So, you know, what I have next is it's called how hard it is to forgive, and then we're actually going to close with that one. It's like how hard is it to forgive? And I will say, when you go through some traumatic shit in your life, you know what I'm saying, and like it from like no matter how young you were, or even like in your early 20s, when you go through some traumatic shit and people have done stuff to you where it seems like they had no remorse, you know, you're not so quick. Like you get to a point where you're just tired of being walked over. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of folks weren't taught to set boundaries at a very early age, so you tend to put walls up. You know what I'm saying? And I saw a meme that was pretty dope. It was like, walls keeps out everyone, but boundaries show them where the door is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just certain ways that you got to you like carry yourself. And I find myself in therapy now trying to how to learn how to carry myself properly. You know what I'm saying? And it's very helpful. It's been very helpful being in therapy and just learning a lot about myself and what I can do to improve my mindset in dealing with people, and what I feel like people who have hurt me, whether that's family, friends, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And it just sucks because a lot of times the things that are done to you, you would never think of doing to somebody else. You know what I mean? But there are no perfect people. And like holding grudges, it only destroys you on the inside. But it takes time to get to the point where you're like ready to forgive somebody for some things that they did, and especially like if they laughed. You know, if you remember people like laughing at you as they're doing things. You know what I mean? It's like that type of shit. It stays with you. Some things you just like. It's just hard for you to let go. It's hard. It's hard for you to let go of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look back on my life. You know what I'm saying? And when I was a kid, you know, we had family members that were, that would display like, very feminine traits and shit like that. And not knowing any better, you tore into them. You know what I'm saying? Just being cruel because kids see anything different than what is considered normal gets attacked. And that is really what we still live. That mindset is still practiced in current society. You know what I'm saying? Like now adults are doing that shit. Anything that's different gets crucified, like torn to shreds. It ain't got shit to do with you, but you feel like you're so, because you don't understand it, you're that much in fear of it that you want to tear that shit down. And like, as a kid, I know I was very cruel to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? For that matter, not just family members that would be like feminine and eventually would grow to be gay, but just people. It's just like I look back on my life and like I wonder how an individual could forgive me. Like I find it hard to forgive myself, let alone forgive others. That's another part of my psyche that I'm working on. It's like learning to forgive others for things that they've done. And me you know, like I said, that whole shame and guilt thing, I don't know, just, you know, you kind of just stay to yourself. It's like you could trust yourself. You know what I mean? That's a lot of times, and it's, you know, it gets, like I said, it gets hard. It gets real hard being or feeling like you are alone. You know what I'm saying? Like people that just don't, you feeling like certain people just don't rock with you the way that, you know what I'm saying, you rock, like you rock with them. Like I really, like I tell you guys all the time, I wish we were still like very close together, because anytime I go through something, man, we, you know, we had each other. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's for laughs or just, you know what I'm saying, just the vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, to feel like you're not alone in something. And but, you know, just getting back to like forgiveness, it's just like it's just hard because of that pain. Pain changes you. Pain reminds you that certain pain, you get triggered every so often about something or someone, and it paralyzes you mentally, and you try your damnedest to get through it, and then you just, I don't know, like for me, I shut down. I'll, like, a lot of times I'll sit in the bed for days because I'm that shut down of like all of what I feel like is done to me, and all of what I would do for others. You know, you try so hard to be like this good person, and like what life teaches you is that no matter how good you are to people, it doesn't mean that they're going to do that same shit for you. You know what I'm saying? I think the expectation is what holds a lot of people like stagnant and paralyzed. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost like traumatized and shit, because you expected something different than what you received. You know what I'm saying? And it just holds at you. But, you know, I just, you know, I'm working on like forgiveness with a lot of things. But I mean, I toss it to you guys. Like, why do you feel like why is it so hard for you to, like, even if it indeed it is, how hard is it, you know, how hard is it to forgive for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know I've had a hard time. I've forgiven so many times. I've had a hard time doing it. But you feel some type of mood, so you forget. That doesn't mean you forget what happened or anything. But yeah, it's a huge relief to forgive. It's hard, but it's really tough.
Yeah, Deacon Balls, man, what are you on forgiveness?
Man, I'm Stone Cold Stunner. I'm damn Stone DTA, man. DTA. My whole thing is, if you do enough to where I have to forgive you, then I don't really need to fuck with you like that.
That doesn't mean you fuck with them when you forgive them. You can forgive somebody and still never have anything to do with them ever.
I mean that's on them at that point. Like, I'm just being honest, man. Like, some things, like I say, with family or whatever, they do certain stuff and I be like, alright then, whatever, man. I'm the next time they ain't gonna get the option. And yeah, I know I couldn't be like that, but that's how I am. That shit, it makes me a hard person to deal with, but in the long run, it makes me not deal with a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, it's a filter.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, a filter, man. Because it's only so many times, so much shit you just want to let slide or go through before you get to the point where you're just like, I'm kind of done. Like, I still talk to people, but I tell them, like, I don't really fuck with you like that. That's just how I feel. Like, we have friends that me and you are cool with, and like, we discussed this before once or twice on the show, and I've tried to talk to them, it's like, I don't fuck with it. And then my point was proven once again, because of the way the person is. That's just what it is. I just like,
some people are just very, just very toxic. You know what I mean?
That's just how I am. But a lot of people see it as bad, but you gotta be that way, man. I feel that's just me personally. You gotta be that way. Like, I done seen enough what people do enough. Yeah, if they know that after a while you're gonna kind of forget them, people will keep running over you doing the same shit.
But it doesn't even have to be that. I mean, it could be a number of things. So, like, for me, my friend, like, you can forgive somebody, like, you know, like a deadbeat dad or mom or anything like that. Like, they weren't there for you before, now they're not. You forgive them. But forgiveness is more for yourself, not for that person.
If you say so,
yeah, it is. I mean, just because I feel like, again, forgiving you doesn't mean I have to fuck. I gotta stay around you.
It doesn't mean that you don't.
That's
for yourself, not for that person.
It's just like when you're not taught these things of how to deal, like when people hurt you. A lot of times, like for me, from what I saw in my peers and shit, like if people hurt you, it's just like something you just dealt with. Oh, that's just how they are. That was the statement that was told. Oh, that's just how they are.
No, ain't no statements. When you act how you are, people will get up
I know, right? And my boy, it joke about. I was at school, planning on motherfuckers. I was getting on people every fucking day. Just nailing people to the fucking wall.
I used to get comments like that being in the military. Oh, that's just how that person are. But because they outrank you, they can be how they are. But when you act like that, if you do the same thing, it's a problem.
Young people, I'm like, if they don't like me, they don't like me. That's just what it is.
Yeah, you can still forgive somebody. You can still forgive somebody not like them. Not want to have anything to do with them. That forgiveness is for you.
So you're doing something so you can feel better.
It's just for you, not for that person that you're forgiving.
To me, that feels kind of like self.
What?
I don't like it. Like, well, I'll do to me. That's kind of like feeling like.
In other words, so I don't know how to explain it, but it's not meaning to come off as something and just say, yeah, I forgive you for the shit that you did. I'm not going to forget about it. I'm still going to hold you, accountable for your actions.
Yeah, I want to look up the definition of forgiveness.
Such is life, right? It's hard to forgive. We should work on it, and just like move on. The thing is, you gotta start waiting for people to show, like this idea of people to show up. It's really what I feel like it is. Like stop waiting for this idea of people to show up. It's probably the best way to put it. Like you have this idea, like, yo, but when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. You know what I mean? Ain't no getting around that shit. You just gotta decide if that's what you want to be around, because if that shit ain't good for your mental health, you got to back the fuck out.
The definition that I have, it says, psychologists generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance towards a person or group who have harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean condoning or excusing offenses.
I feel deep down you still have resentment for that person.
You will.
So how is it forgiveness? The definition defined it.
It's a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance.
If you still got some sort of thing or resentment toward me, you ain't really forgave. Let's go ahead and break that shit down. I'll move on. I'm just saying.
Yep. Oh well. Fuck that shit. We not, we only rocking with people that really want to rock with us. You know what I'm saying? We're not dealing with half-ass people anymore. We're not dealing with people that just, give us crumbs. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we want to get fed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we trying to get, we keep trying to feed people with the soul, and they, they're not here for that. They here for a short period of time. You know what I'm saying? They just because it's like, they got different motives on what they want to do, and it's just unfortunate because a lot of times, a lot of people you would give everything for, they wouldn't do the same for you in return, and you have to accept that shit. And it's like, all right, this is how we're going to be, this is what life is, and you have to protect yourself at all times.
The whole thing about energy too, man. You let people with that kind of energy around you, that shit gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, that shit tears you down.
I need to work more on that myself.
I'll leave the floor to you, Ebony. You just got back, you know what I mean? So you take your choice of who you want to ask the question to, whether that's your darling husband or your brother-in-law, whichever one you want to do.
Darling husband. Darling husband. Did you miss me?
Oh hell no.
Just kidding. Of course you miss me.
Nope.
Whatever. I don't know what question I'm going to ask you. I don't know what question I'm going to ask you. I don't know. First,
I got one, man, because we discussed this earlier today, man.
Go ahead.
So if you could choose one celebrity to run for president, you already know fucking celebrities to be president now. Who would it be? Who would be a
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle probably would be transgenders would probably slaughter him.
I don't give a fuck what they would do. Dave Chappelle is, they don't care. I mean, it's just, he does it because it's funny. He's not doing it because it's malicious. And they'll have to deal with that. I mean, they got Trump as president. Trump does malicious shit to like people with special needs. You know what I'm saying? He does it to a particular group of like color group of people, and so I ain't trying to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Dave Chappelle, like the knowledge that he has, the way he's like a straight shooter about a lot of things. I feel like that's what America needs right now. That's the representation that I would want for America. Somebody that that just stands in their truth and just does, you know, doesn't give a fuck about being criticized. I think a lot of us could use that. You know, I've been trying, like I said, I've been spending my life trying to be like this perfect individual that doesn't make like mistakes and shit like that, when I should have just been stepping into the fact that I'm not perfect. And exactly. So I mean, if that's who I would choose. Yeah. Well, did you ask a question? Was that really your question, or you passed it on to Jeff?
What's your question?
I heard somebody I was with today earlier said Dolly Parton.
Dolly.
Now, why Dolly Parton? They were like,
because she got big ass titties.
Just not considered like a conservative or whatever. And then it was like,
She would have loved to have people at halftime.
it's like she's a feminist, but she's really not a fucking feminist. It's like she's in between on every fucking thing if you actually follow her. So I'm like, damn, that's kind of weird. But that, if you go look at her, it's kind of like true. She's like in between on every topic. Like, I don't need Dolly Parton.
Double D, like quadruple bosses.
But I don't know who mine would be. You got one?
That was a good one, actually, Jeff. I still have a question.
I mean, the question I made out.
Yeah, good. So, if we, I think, I don't know, he said, I think, nobody is a president. He would be good with it. I would have had Richard Pryor, but he's gone. So I can't put him down. So if he was alive, I for sure pick him. I will for sure pick him.
You pick Richard Pryor to be president.
Yeah.
I'm tossing my question in for the deacon. What is your strength? That you knowing yourself. Like what is your biggest strength?
It's also my biggest one. I think that more of it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
So your honesty is your biggest. You have honesty as your biggest strength.
Fucking hate. It seems more as a down in them older. It's more of a weakness than it is a strength. I'm trying to think what my strength is, man. But this ain't choking niggas out. But I don't think that's really.
I have one for both of y'all.
I'm trying.
So we're going with your biggest strength is your honesty.
Yeah, I used to think that, but that gets me in trouble a fucking lot.
Is it your honesty or is it your delivery?
Just his delivery.
There you have it.
Yeah,
Those are two, you know what I'm saying? Those are two different things. So like your honesty is your strength. The fact that you are honest. Now the fact of how you deliver it to people, that's a whole nother ball game.
Yes, this is delivery.
So your weakness is your delivery, and your strength is your honesty.
I guess, boss.
That's what old Ebenezer Scrooge is saying. All right.
Man.
All right, what you got?
For both of y'all, what is your biggest fear?
Making mistakes, and that is my Achilles heel. That's the fear. My fear is not being good enough. That not being good enough means that I'm imperfect. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it cripples the fuck out of me. Like I have to be, in my mind, I have to be top notch. I'm not able to make mistakes, and whenever I do make mistakes, I'm shamed, and I don't know how to bounce back from it, and it comes off like it looks kind of wild to some people, but that's really what I struggle with. I struggle with failure. I struggle a lot with failure, and I want to be better at that in particular. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm teaching myself to get rid of this whole perfectionist thing and dealing with like people's emotions, especially those that trigger that of my those who trigger the emotions of like what I feel is like my parents, or like how I feel like my parents would view me. You know, it's like their level, like you hear in the back of your head, like I'm disappointed in you type shit, and it makes you want to like sit in the corner and hold your head down. You know what I mean? Which is like standing above that and being able to take criticism. But you know, it's a process. It's just learning about yourself and like, oh, okay, that's why I do this. So it's like being more mindful and how you can be better. So my biggest fear is making mistakes. That's my fear. My biggest fear is making mistakes and not being good enough. Excuse me. My biggest fear is not being good enough, but ultimately, which all that coincides with it, making mistakes, being shameful, and all of that. So I don't know how to come back from that. You know, again, what else? Because just feeling like, whenever you make mistakes and then like no one just has your, and feeling like no one has your back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I make sure if everything is good, I'm not able to make I'm not able to make mistakes. At least that's how I felt like as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like if I make a mistake, no one's gonna have my back in that shit. That's what it feels. That's what it feels like. It may not be true, but that's what it feels like to me. So that's how I deal with. So yeah. So on to Karumbe. Your biggest fear.
Mine is I double you down on what you said, and I need to think about this. Wasted fucking time. I think about all the fucking like relationship wise, wasted time, like military wise. I don't consider it wasted. Some of it wasted time, but a lot of it feels like wasted time. Like when I was in, so my time was wasted. Like I had to learn a foreign language fully that I want to learn. So I feel like I wasted time. You know what I'm saying? Like going to school and stuff. If I get all the education like math and computer science and still can't find a good job, it's like wasted fucking time again. You know what I'm saying? Like I've already thought about some of them like females I've wasted my fucking time on. I thought about like in school that I was sitting at home watching my nephew when I should have been in school sometimes. My grades would have been higher. That's wasted fucking time. And then you think about like people like Kobe that accomplished so much shit in their life, and you haven't hit a plateau that you wanted to, like with almost like nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like wasted time is like people die so fucking much. Like growing up, man, people die a lot. Then it's like, like my grandma recently died and all this other stuff. And I just sit back like, damn, man, wait. She lived to like 89 or something? And you think like, damn, man, like all this fucking wasted time. Like I'm sitting here like talking and playing my game now. But still, I at least want to accomplish like a foreign language, at least while I'm alive, at least 2 foreign languages, and I haven't got one fully learned. So I'm like, man, I feel like I waste a lot of my time, bro. I go to the gym, work out, come home, and then like I lose a lot of weight from a lot of muscle or whatever, and then after a while I'll eat bad again. It's wasted fucking time. Like a lot of is great. I feel like I'm wasting time. Yeah, that shit's crazy to me. I hate the thought of just like wasted time. I get up early in the morning, like all the time, because I don't feel like I want to waste time. That shit's crazy. It's inbred in me from my father, but still though, I can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and somewhere along the line, I've still wasted time in the daytime. I think it's a thing with my dad too, man, because he has like not sleep apnea, but the thing where you don't go to sleep sometimes.
Yeah, insomnia,
but it's based on like his kidneys or whatever. But still, like he's been like that since we were young. So I'm just like, maybe that's something that's just carried on with me. I don't know, man. Death always makes you feel like time has been wasted around you.
Avenue, were you asked anything at all?
Nobody asked.
Yeah, I asked about the president.
Yeah, you asked about the president's thing. Okay, but that wasn't an original question. All right.
prior. That's right.
If there was one movie set that you would like to be on, like a classic movies that you've seen growing up and stuff like that, what set would you want to be on?
Fried green. It would have to be a toss-up between fried green tomatoes and what is that? Steel magnolias.
Deep down, the old.
Shut up. Fried green tomatoes, steel magnolias.
You're a regular. So, okay, I see what you want to be on these. You want to be on all these white sets, Gail King.
I saw the color purple too.
I told you, the old white one.
Color purple too.
It'd have to be light for me. Light or all of night. Them motherfuckers.
Oh yeah. Them motherfuckers.
Can you imagine being on light set with like Bernie Mac, Martin, fucking Murphy, all these things comedians, man? Yeah, I lose my fucking mind. I probably like laugh. I couldn't imagine. I probably peeing on myself. You sit here now, just thinking that motherfuckers been in the same fucking spot joking all day. You know they had to be joking all day. You know there was no fucking shit. Jet and fucking all of night, man, red box.
Yeah. Well. All right, Ab. So what one you going with? I asked for one damn movie set, and you gave me 3. Which one you going with?
Right, the color purple.
You want to be on the color purple movie set?
Yes.
You want to sit with Danny Glover's woman beating ass?
Nope. I'm
Yeah. You don't want to be Oprah right now. You don't want to be Gail, Oprah, Terry Crews.
No, that's a hook right there. No, I look like a fish print to me, son.
All right. Well, you got your movie set. You chose the color purple. We want to, like, you guys listening in. I've probably listening in on YouTube. Comment below what movie set you probably want to be on. Comment below who you probably want as president. And what else did we ask? What's your biggest fear? Yeah, right down below. What's your biggest fear? We got the team. We got the team back in order. A lot of changes going to be made in the coming months, and we look forward to that. But we also want to thank everybody for listening to the show in and show out. And just looking forward to the changes that's to come. Do everything we can, fighting through mental health, fighting through stress, fighting through anxiety, fighting through depression, alcoholism, pornography, all those things that that we deal with. Like to get out of to get out of bed, to fight to get up and just do give your best every day. It gets tough, but we got to do it. We're going to do it, and that's pretty much it. You can follow the show on Instagram on the 2 Cents the podcast handle, also the official Romy Mac page, and then there's the 2 Cents Podcast Central Facebook page. You subscribe to the 2 Cents Podcast Central YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at ROMEY_MAK, and Snapchat is the 2 Cents Podcast, I believe. And yeah, that's I think that's pretty much all we got. But y'all got anything else y'all want to leave before we close this out? Deacon, you got anything for the benediction?
Yeah, we got on Apex Legends, Deacon Balls. I need legit teammates.
All right then. Well, from Sugar Booger, welcome back, and from Deacon Balls, Karoom, better known as Karoom Bay, and from Romy Mac, this is 2 Cents, and we out. Peace.
2 Cents.